It's Daniel of Young and Foolish.
Throughout my young and foolish life, I don't think I've ever met anyone as demanding of himself and us as Anthony Mangieri of Una Pizza Napoletana. At the time you went into business in the 90s, most pizzerias are named after a person. Vinny's or John's or Totono's.
Gino's.
How did you come up with that kind of generic sounding name?
I remember sitting in my grandmother's dining room. I was young and I was thinking of names for it. And I wanted a name that said what it is. I didn't want it to be my name or anything like that. I wanted the name to really just mean something kind of humble but also beautiful. Some people think it means like one or number one or something like that. It actually just means, like in a sentence, a Neapolitan pizza. So I thought it was cool to just have that be the name. I didn't have any peers in America to kind of look up to or to be inspired by when it came to Neapolitan pizza. And I definitely had pizzerias that I loved in America, like Totono's and Lombardi's. I love John's on Bleecker. There were a bunch of places that I really loved, but nothing like what I had experienced in Naples and what touched me so much and what I wanted to do the rest of my life. It wasn't like I wanted to do it as a concept. I've always kind of been somebody that isn't really turned on by restaurateurs that do concepts. Like, to me, this is my life. My family's from that part of the world. Like, it all just, it's life to me. It's not like making Neapolitan pizza is my new concept after I had a barbecue place. This is all I do.
And now we're in an era where you hear a guy says, no, I'm going to do a better bagel, and they lock themselves in a basement for a year. What was your thinking about just doing one thing?
When I started to discover this style of cooking, when I was very young in Italy with my family, I would come back and be like, oh my God, how can no one be making anything like this in America? It just felt so like ethnic and exotic, and like, it didn't even seem Italian in a way to me from what I grew up eating, which was Italian American. So people always did that with music, or did that with writing, or did that with painting. I just approached making pizza the same way as that. Not to say that I ever thought of myself as an artist, but I went at the idea of my work ethic and the idea of doing something like that, which I think had existed in many, many fields, just not in food as much. So I think most people just tend to, get through something and then they want to get on to the next concept, or maybe they don't feel stimulated by one thing. Maybe I'm just a dummy and I'm constantly stimulated by one thing. But that was really the way that I approached it. I didn't think it was anything innovative. I just was like, I just want to make this thing and make it better every day.
The British expression end of, this person has perfected lobster roll or Korean chicken wings or pizza, and it's end of story. That's it. Your story, you were the beginning of.
I still change the dough recipe every day. Every aspect of this restaurant, every day I'm trying to improve. One of my coworkers said to me last week when I was talking about this new project that I'm working on and a certain part of this restaurant to make it better, he's like, man, I didn't think you could push it any further, and somehow I keep finding ways to try to fine tune it and make it better. So I don't know, that's just a certain way of, I think, approaching life in general.